Hey there, it's Brainy. April is Autism Awareness Month, and I'd like to raise some cash for the month to donate to the Autism Self-Advocacy Network. So, how am I going to do that? Well, allow me to demonstrate. This is a fish stick. Not very interesting, is it? But what if I dressed it in a flight jacket and sunglasses? That do anything for you? No? Well, how about if I turned it into a festive party clown? This isn't like an NFT. I like to call them ARTs, or actually realized tokens. I wish there was a single word name that I could call them, but anyway. If you donate a minimum of $20 to my campaign via the links in my stream, and then email me at brainytherpgcat@gmail.com or join my Discord, I will be more than happy to send you a transparent PNG of one of these lovely fish sticks. Keep your requests safe for work, by the way. Oh, and 100% of the donations will go straight to ASAN. So, what have you got to lose? Donate to a good cause, and I'll draw on a fish stick for you. That doesn't sound as good when I say it out loud. Anyway, thank you very much for your support. Happy April, everybody. Heh, doesn't look like I'm here. Okay, well, I know precisely the reason why I know I'm not on. Okay, I just needed to activate that again. All right, so hello, cats and kittens, felines and felidae, humans and variant humans, and every race, class, and subclass. Welcome to the second half of our 8-hour donathon supporting Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. It has been an incredibly productive day so far, so much that things have, just exceeded my expectations when it comes to this. I think that's the best way to put it, is that I'm really, really happy that a significant amount of people have actually been able to bring in their donations today. Let me see if there's a way that, I can just go back to the browser and I can show you, how we've been doing. So you see it's right about here. Sorry, I'm just having the tiniest bit of a problem, seeing the scroll in the browser that I need to. All right, well, yeah, maybe it's not that button. Maybe it's this button right here. I need to do so much in order to clean out my infrastructure. I think we kind of walked in on that one. Okay, here we are. Okay, so, yeah, once again, is that right now we are currently up to, I believe that is a total of $235, and that is fantastic. Is that we have a lot of people to thank for this so far. We have Mikey, Ruby, and Jacob who donated $50, and also Margarita Gary who donated $50 on both on today, April the 20th. Stacy and Albert Babani who donated on 4/16. They had donated $25. Shelly Strice who had donated on 4/14. I almost said downloaded. They donated on 4/14 is in the amount of $50, and that was the first $50 amount that we ever got. Also, Cindy and Mark Blank, they donated $25 on the 12th. And also, I just have to thank an anonymous donor who I just actually happen to know is my own aunt. And she donated a total of $35, $25 on the second, and then $10 today. So thank you everybody who's donated so far. Is that, once again, this is a very important cause for me. This is something that I feel is really, really important in our current communicative environment. So I'm happy that, absolutely anybody is actually willing to do the legwork and make a donation to this very worthy and significant nonprofit organization. So thank you, thank you, thank you. There's not enough thank yous to be said. All right, so, it's going to be, once again, it's up to me in order to continue to keep the ball rolling and find some other games to play. I think something that immediately jumped out at me after I got back from the break is that I think I would like to get into a little Balatro. And so, Balatro, for those of you who are uninitiated, which is kind of hard to do because this has been an extremely popular game, Balatro is a game that is exactly like the game that I played before the break called, let me see. Well, shucks. I accidentally, okay, there it is. Okay, finally decided to pop up. There's a little bit of a delay going on there. So, Balatro is another game that's a roguelike. It's just a game where you just continue to play through it until the moment comes when you actually fail, and then you have to start over again. The major difference between this game and then most other games of its ilk is that instead of trying to beat up great big piles of foes like you do in Hades or in Splintered Fate like I was doing earlier, you have to make poker hands. And this is exactly where the classic board and card style side of me really has a tendency in order to jump in here and really enjoy this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just play a little bit of that. And yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's get started. Let me see. Say a red deck. Well, I'll just start with the red deck. I'm not going to play too much with like the deck singular special abilities right now. Okay, so you start out with, a small blind of 300 points, a very easy score in order to win the round. And let me see. Well, right out of the gate, I can make a really good poker hand. I can make a full house out of these 3 jacks and 2 and twos of hearts, 2s of diamonds. Altogether, that's 1 full house. There's something I've always personally enjoyed about playing with standard playing cards simply because, there's just something so fluid about them. Is that just the ability in order to create a bunch of pairs of different kinds of cards, try to find the patterns in just what seems to be just a random pile of different numbers in your hand, There's a possibility, because I have a king, a queen, and a jack, I might actually try for 10 and 9 and then get a straight. But I don't think I'm going to press my luck in just that way. I'm just going to go ahead and play 2 pair. There we go. Say, classic trading cards make Brainy's head go zoom, zoom. All right. Grab this cash. All right, so I have like $9 as a result of winning that last round, so I can actually start to buy some upgrades. So I have a choice of 2 Joker cards. Joker cards are important because they just kind of add permanent special effects to all the hands you can possibly play. This one is, it looks like, just a communist poster Joker that adds double the rank of the lowest rank card of its hand to a mold. Let me unpack this for a little bit. The lowest rank, anytime that the lowest rank card appears in a hand, then that one gets scored double, which is actually a pretty good effect. I'm going to buy that one. Yeah, so we're going for the power of the worker, super socialist, bonus when it comes to all of our hands in the future. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open a blind pack. So spend my other $4 to pick out one of 2 jokers that I can also add to this next hand. Okay, so this joker is just a card game, has a picture of just a card game upon it. And so, according to this, all the cards are considered face cards, which is interesting because, it really changes things around in a very specific way. It means that I would not have the ability to make a straight. However, since my lowest card is always going to be now going to be scored twice, it also means that the lowest card that I can possibly have would be a jack. So I'm going to give this one a try. That sounds like really great. I didn't even look at the special effect of the other card at this point because I don't even think I need it. Okay, oops. Okay, well, I accidentally skipped a blind, which is probably something I shouldn't have done. You always have the opportunity to do that. And you get a special ability for doing that as well, but then you also have to make sure that, you are capable of making double the score after that without getting any upgrades, which can be hard to do sometimes. Okay, so all cards are considered face cards. Just a great deal. These cards still look like numbered cards to me, so I might as well just try to build hands the way that I always have. So first thing I'm going to try to do is let's go ahead and let me see if I can get... let me just make some discards of the cards I know that aren't going to be counting. Okay, a pair of kings, pair of eights, just experimentally. Okay, let's go ahead and play our hands. Okay. So that was, by itself, that was worth a single hand, because right now, even my numbered cards are scoring as the lowest possible card value can have, which I believe is 10. And I'm also doubling that, which means that every single 10 that I score is actually worth 20. So, for skipping the hand is that I do have the ability, in order to grab a card. This is a Zany Joker. It says it's a plus 12 multiplier if a hand contains a 3 of a kind. That's not too bad of a gambit. It's also a 0 card. And then also this one says played face cards give 30 plus 30 chips when scored. That's tremendous, because according to this card, every card I'm going to play is now going to be considered a face card. That means anytime that I score a face card, then I will be given plus 30 chips, which is a huge multiplier to the total score that I can do. Things are going uncharacteristically smoothly for this run, so I'm really just going to continue to hope that, it just keeps going that way. I gotta let it ride, let it ride, let it ride. I'm going to pick a tarot card. This is just a blind pack of, tarot cards which have one-time use effects on my deck. So let me see. A chariot card will turn a selected card into a steel card. That's not really as useful as it sounds. The Hierophant enhances 2 selected cards to bonus cards. Or the Wheel of Fortune, there's a 1 in a 4 chance to add a foil, holographic, or polographic to every Joker. Let me go ahead and try that one. Nope. Unfortunately, the wheel just decided to say, no, I don't get a bonus at all. And then it decided, to throw itself away. I have now wasted $4. All right, so back to the small blind. This time I need to score 800 points. Let's see. How else can we put this? I'd like to see if I have a pair of 2s right now. 4s, 5s, and 8s, ace, kings, and jack. I'm going to discard these 3. All right. Now I have a pair of kings and a pair of 2s. I'm going to go ahead and play that, because once again, I have all these multipliers on the lowest possible card right now. Okay, so let's see how the cards affect this one. 10, 30, 10, 30, 2, 30, 2, 30. That's tremendous. That is, yeah. Already 2,000 points on what was supposed to have been an $800 blind. I've already got myself on easy street. This is the cat's pajamas. All right. Let's see. Okay, grocery list Joker earn $4 if a poker hand is a high card hand, but the poker hand will change at the end of the round. Well, okay, that's a little bit too much. That's a little bit too cryptic for what I've currently built in my Joker pile right now, so I'm not going to go for that. Let's see, what else do I want to do? Venus cards, level up 3 of a kind cards. That wouldn't be too bad. So let me see. I have the ability to grab a jumbo pack, which means is that I have a chance to upgrade 5 standard cards. Let me open that up. I think it actually might be the thing that is most worth it. Okay, so I just get to pick out one of these cards that have special properties that I can go ahead and I can add to the total 54 card deck that I'm playing right now. I think, okay, this Jack actually gives me a bonus of 40 total chips every single time I play that specific Jack. That actually might be something that I want to add to the kind of benefits that I'm receiving right now. All right, so we're going to go on to the big blind. All right. Okay, so 7, 6, 5, 4, 2. Well, drat. Well, okay, I thought that this was going to be an easy enough decision, but regrettably, yeah, I don't quite have a straight. It's nothing that I really want to throw out except for this 1, 2. Okay, hang on. What is happening here? Unfortunately, nothing too good. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to play the single pair right now. All right. I mean, that by itself, that's worth, what, 1350? I win the hand just by doing that because I've got enormous score multipliers right now. All right. Well, we're still in the very early stages. After a while, you know, something's going to happen that's going to throw a monkey wrench in all of this. You know, that's one of the things that you have to anticipate in a game like Balatro. Let me see. Let me see. This Joker says +2 chips for each remaining card in your deck. Currently 106 chips. Why not? I just have 1 bonus card going for me right now. And, well, because I bought that, I only have $2 left, so I can't buy anything in next. Okay, so we're going to be playing the Goad. The Goad means that anytime I play a spade card, it's going to be debuffed. So, what I got to watch about. Let me see. So, only 1 spade in my hand at the moment. I'm just going to use the discard on it. Let me see. 10, 9, 7, 7, 6, 4. Only thing that would score right now is like 2 7s. Let me discard these 2 cards. Okay, so now I have 2 pair, including aces, which is a pretty fantastic hand. And none of them are in the debuffed category, so that's good. I got that going for me, which is nice. All right. Oh, goody, 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 goody. All right, so let me see what else can we do. Yeah, cash out 8. So I got $8. $8. The Joker business card means that played face cards have a 1 in 2 chance to give 2 when scored. Since I'm seem to be maxing out on face cards when it comes to my Joker pile, I actually might want to try using this one. I'd have to throw away at least one thing that's good. You know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sell this Joker. Okay, and then I will add the Joker business card. Okay, Celestial Packs are really useful right now because Celestial Packs just add a permanent upgrade to certain kinds of poker hands. So a lot of people who play this game tend not to like to use them, but I like to use them because it's really great to get just like a single bonus on like every 2 pairs that I make going into the future. I have a tendency to really like the Uranus card. Okay, and that's not a metaphor for anything. Okay, yeah, phrasing! But no, it means that, the Uranus card is, in particular likes to upgrade 3 of a kind, and I have a tendency to play 3 of a kind a lot. No particular reason. Oh, well, let me get this Venus. I think this does just about the same thing. Okay. So now, I'm just adding a permanent score multipliers to my Venus card. And so now let me see, what else can we do here? Saturn's level up straights, Pluto's level up high cards. You don't want to be caught in a high card situation in this game, let me tell you. Flushes. I will get the one for flush. Yeah, flush is the best. Okay, goody. All right. Let me see. Small blind, 2,000 points. Should be cake. All right, let me see. 5, 4, 6, 5, 4, and 3. I am so close to a straight right here. Let me see. I would probably want. Let's drop the 10 and the 9. There's a potential to make a straight with that, but it just doesn't seem to be materializing. Well, shucks. This is not a good place to be, because right now I do have just a single pair. I'm going to try to force my hand. I think I'm going to try to see if I can discard these cards and then get a straight. I got the 10 and the 9 back. How do you like them apples? All right. Yeah, if I tried the straight right here, I would really just... I'm going to get rid of the 10 and the 9 too, even though they're not anything. I'm only scoring a single pair in this. Okay, so 1296. I've still got 2 discards and 3 hands here. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2. Give me some good ones, some good ones. I'm even willing to throw away the queen and the jack at this point. Yeah, I mean, they're teasing me. They're pretty openly saying to me that, no, you don't get the straight that you would like in this hand. I mean, since it's very likely that I could be able to win this on a single hand anyway, I think I am going to make one more bid at trying to make the straight. So I think I'm going to do that. 5, 4, 3, 3, and 2. So I can at least keep the single pair even if I don't make the straight. Okay. This is interesting. Now I have 3 pairs of 5s, 4s, and 3s. How do you like that? Okay. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2. I don't have enough for a straight, but I have enough for 2 pairs, which, and once again, everything counts as a face card and has enormous multipliers on it. All right. So, there was a little... I made that a little bit off of the skin of my pants, but I was still able to make some money off of that due to the fact that I still had 2 remaining hands left. Okay, so Egg Joker. Egg Joker gains $3 of your sell value at the end of the round. That only really just has to do with selling a card. The Chariot will once again change one of my cards into a special card. And then I have 2 sets of Arcana packs. Well, before I make a decision when it comes to that, I'm going to buy the voucher. The voucher just allows me to spend money on more valuable cards in the shop every time that I buy it. Mickey Raton, thank you very much for tuning back in. Okay, so... I'm in the middle of playing a game of Balatro, but anytime that you want to, let me know when you want to sign into Helldivers, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to give that a try together. Also, something that I should bother to ask you is, if you can, go back to our text messages and send me what your screen name might be in Discord. Because I always handle voice chat through Discord, and if you wanted to, I can just go ahead and put you on the show while we're playing this. Try to decide if that's something you would like to do. If not, then I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to join your online game, and we're going to do a significant amount of team-ups. Any way that you like it. I am amicable about being a gamer. Is that that's just one of the things that I think is really important, is that gamers, just continue to share and play with each other in any way that they can. Let me see. So I'm gonna wait for two or three of those things to come directly from my cousin, and see if that is actually going to result in us, changing the game right now. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to just do one more hand up Balatro. Let's see what we can do here. Big blind. I really should be doing absolutely everything I can to save this game, because this is quite honestly the best I've ever had it. Okay, you're logged into Helldivers. Okay, well, like I said, I'm just going to finish this one hand and then I'll be right with you. 8765. Unfortunately, I don't have a straight. I don't have much of anything. I have like a pair right now. Okay. Then just move that. Okay, 98765. Now I have a straight. Let's play that straight. Okay. Okay, well, I wish there was more of a way to save my run, but I really think I just need to quit the game and then the run is saved for me automatically, like what most modern video games do. All right. I had to get with the times, I remember, well, even once again, since Mickey is here, I do remember the time that I used to play like point and click adventure games on his PC, and we would have to save like every 2 or 3 alternate seconds in order to make sure that we could continue to play through the game without making a fatal mistake that was going to have to make us start over again. This was another thing that we used to have to deal with when we were first generation PC game players. Okay, so before I start playing, is that I'm probably going to need to do just like an extreme amount of changes to my settings just to make sure that I'll be able to save my bandwidth enough to stay streaming and also be playing the game. Of course, the first thing to pop up is the anti-cheat. It gives me a certain sense of security. All right, so getting into Helldivers. Helldivers. Okay, and I'm going to need the game to not capture my mouse right now so that I can actually bring it onto the screen. Okay.
English US.
Yes, I do want the game to be in English. Thank you. There we go. Just make sure that that happens. See. Capture only full screen application. Is that going to help here? We're dealing with that scuff thing that I previously mentioned. All right. See, what am I gonna? I'm gonna have to display capture again. All right. Well, there you go. Okay, things look pretty good when it comes to resolution. Okay.
Subtitle mode.
On-screen subtitles only. In world.
Subtitle size.
At least for now, they're using the text for speech to help me to pick out the option.
Subtitle mode.
What is that?
On-screen only.
What is full subtitles? I don't know what that means.
In world only.
Okay, so.
World only.
Okay, let's go ahead and keep it there. So now I can actually have the text-to-speech off. Audio device. Well, I'm headphones right now. And it's helpful in order to choose the headphones options when you can, because that means that you'll be able to get a good ambient sound that actually might help you with gameplay. Voice chat, open mic, push to talk, push to mute. You know what? Just for the sake of my cousin, I'm going to be on open mic so that, he actually might be able to answer back to me while we're playing. crossplay. I'm allowed to that. Let me see. Do I want to skip? No, I probably don't want to skip, because that means if people are playing on PlayStation, that means I won't be able to join their game. Okay, time to pull out the so yeah, so let me see here. So my Discord is Brady the RPG Cat still. Okay, so let me go ahead and let me do this link really quick. You know, I never had to do this kind of thing when I was playing Super Mario Brothers 3, let me tell you. Oh, Lens. All right. Let's get us to this website. We have to join the PlayStation Cloud. Continue. I used to have a Sony Network account, but damned if I can remember what it is at this point. Maybe I've already changed it to Brainy, because there was a time when I was Brainy and I also used to sign into PlayStation. So I'm going to roll the dice on that. No, I don't think so. Is there a way to recover lost password from the screen? Let me see. I mean, this was so long ago, I don't even remember what my last PlayStation screen name is. Seems to be just accepting it in screen name form. No, it still says enter the email address. I mean, something that you might be able to help me with, Mickey, is that if you were to tell me whether or not you are actually playing on PlayStation, let me know whether or not I actually need to continue to do this. See if I can create an account that doesn't actually have this saved. No, you're not on PlayStation. Okay, well then I'm going to skip. We're going to do this on PC like the way that God intended. All right, so, you know, little bit of brightness. You know, I do like to be able to see myself in shadows. All right. Oh, for crying out loud, why does Bergie keep showing up? I'm not playing Bergie right now. At one point did I... Yeah, I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to unmod it. Say unmod Streamlabs. Oh, I think I just have this on my Streamlabs timer. This is actually a lot easier to get rid of. Okay, so Streamlabs, CloudBot. You know, I do this to myself. I force myself in order to make like in-game menus that I actually don't need. There we go. Let's have that turned off for good for the rest of the stream now. All right. You know, agree to the user agreement. I'm more than likely, you know, suggesting to the powers that be is that they can show up into my house, paint me purple, and then string me upside down in my front yard naked by my toes. I don't know why they would want to do that. Super Earth Ministry of Truth. You know, there's a kind of a sense of sensibility of being an extra funny version of Starship Troopers. That's kind of what the theming is when it comes to this game.
Super Earth, our home.
You know, more than regular Earth, definitely Super Earth.
Liberty.
For democracy, yes it is. You know, we have a choice between being democratic or being devoured by giant insects. That's basically what's going on here.
Doesn't come free.
Yikes.
Sweet liberty. No!
You have to admire their commitment to the role.
Familiar? Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy right now.
I think are you trying to tell me that you're actually the guy whose wife got killed in that, or is that a little bit too much of the subtext that I'm reading into?
To yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Join the Helldivers. Become part of an elite peacekeeping force.
Okay, so how often do these gigantic, mostly naked insect creatures actually manage to land on the surface of the Earth? Do we already have a map like they have in COD where they're just in the middle of invading a post-nuclear town full of that's made up entirely of mannequins, something like that? You know, you gotta love the little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor that comes with every single mindless shooter that has ever been created. Okay, so yes, it is. There is planets. There is a planets map now. So these there are some of these great big bugs that are actually attacking populated areas. That makes me feel so better about what I'm about to do. All right. So there's a very strong chance that they're going to actually start making me do a tutorial right now. You know, nothing personal, just business. Mm-hmm. You get out that plane any way that you want to there, cowboy. I can already see, you know, just, I would say, an unreasonable amount of flicker on my character sprite. Alright. Well, let's see. Okay, where are we going? Which way is the map? Which way is the map? You know, these days, you don't even use a map, you use like a waypoint finder. Okay. Yeah, there's got to be a sprint button here. Shooter games always have sprint buttons. Alright. Running through the desert, running through the desert. Guy sounds like a real old sweater gal. You know, run, deck, duck, duck, no pun intended. Up. Then A to sprint and climb up. Okay, well, sometimes the shooter games will make you do that. All right. A to hurdle chest high walls. You know. I'm still something in the neighborhood of the 2013 School of Comedy, which requires me to point out chest high walls. Okay, I obviously did something stupid here. Okay. Double tap B to dive into the prone. All right. Okay, that's, you know, that's a good maneuver right there, because that means is if there's any time somebody is firing at me, then I can immediately go into a low enough crouch. That's really good. All right. All right. Yeah. That all that machine does is stab you. Okay, yep. Then press up in order to hit yourself with an injection to make sure that that injury does not stay with me for an unnecessary reason. All right. Well, now we're just going to open a case that has one of these uglies in it. All right. Load the weapon. Load the weapon. Don't hold it down. Tap it. Holding it down just shows you what the weapon is. All right. Now we're playing the feud. Make sure that I lob grenades into all the baskets. All right, so I'm holding the grenade. I'm pulling the grenade. I am throwing the grenade. There we go. Well, no. Grenade go down the hole. All right. Is it? All right. Hold the left bumper for this. Oh, hold the left bumper for this. Up, left, down, right. I'm pretty sure there's like multiple button combinations that I'm going to have to memorize eventually. Up, left, down, right. I'm pressing that thing. Okay, actually, no. I see. They're showing the controls. I actually have to press down, right, right, and up in order to use a stratagem. Okay. And then... that probably should not be right next to me. Ouch. You know, there used to be a really fun arena battling game on PlayStation called Loadout. This game reminds me a lot of that. So, my cousin is laughing his ass off right now, and it's you want me to just plug that last one for you? You know, because I can do that, because I'm a recruit now. All right. Uh-huh. You know, he's a strapping young lad, but he's so awfully thin. I feel like I want to take him to bring him to my house to give him pasta fazoo, you know. Feed him a good casserole dish full of baked ziti, something like that. Okay. Okay, reinforcements. Up, down, right, left, and up. And then right trigger. Okay, well, up. It's a good thing I didn't stand too close to that this time. Being too close to things seems to be my Achilles heel in this game. All right. Yep. You know, occasionally switch guns, you know. When it comes to just shooting game strategy in general, I tend to like to be a machine gun guy. But, you know, we can't be choosy, you know, especially in drop simulation games like this. Tap X to reload. See. I have a distinct feeling that that is actually not a good idea right here. Okay. Then they told me to, you know, before another ugly comes out. Okay, I've got to switch my grenades. You know, this is where I usually flunk the tutorial, just so you know. Oh, yep. There we go. I'm out of ammo there. I'm gonna have to grab another ammo before I actually remember how to fire my grenades. Alright. Okay. Well, at least that shut the hole. Now I just have to kill this one. Alright. Oh, you're just saying that. I bet you say that to all the new recruits. Well, let's see. I think I have to get over the wall. In order to do that, I have to remember how... Oh, actually, I have to go to the left. Okay. turret time, down, up, and right. You know, throw the stratagem ball. I threw that a little bit too close to the sign. Okay. Okay, I was hoping that it would actually break the sign when it fell. Okay, resupply. Then down, down, up, and right. I can imagine pressing all of these gun combinations actually might be difficult to do in the line of battle. I don't think I did that right. I think I put it on the step and then it disappeared. Okay. Okay, I have come to the realization I do have to get a certain amount of close to it in order for it to actually materialize. Yep. Oh. Do tell. Alright. Okay, terminal activation. Right, up, and down. Oh, goody. Now we're in Unreal Tournament once again. Okay, so, you know, we have brought freedom. Let me see. It says release the flag. Okay, wrong button. I planted the flag, then I have to release it in order to salute. That's what they're trying to do, get me to do here. Okay, I just have to tap. There's always a difference between tapping and holding in this game. Alright. Ooh, tiny ones. Alright. You know, I think I had a few of these in college. I have a sneaking suspicion that some of these aliens are actually being used for propaganda purposes. But how can I prove it? Alright. Oh, well, I can just, as long as something else isn't going to jump out and try to kill me. Ah, you know, this guy, he's a real pip. All right, we're getting really close to our first commercial break, so the first thing I've got to say is thank God that this is over. I actually might be able to line up an online game now. All right. I still need to adjust my settings, too. I did all of that without doing this. All right. Dun, 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 dun. This is like the second PlayStation game that I even own on my Steam list. The first one, of course, was Insomniac Spider-Man. Mars. Where are you going, Mars? It's practically become like the Bucky of science fiction planets. Super Destroyer ship. I've got to go with Hammer. If there's a Hammer of Justice, oh yeah, I'm all over that. Prepare to face the Hammers of Justice. All right. So I suspect that this is the hub right here.
Congratulations on completing training, Helldiver.
Mm-hmm.
You're in charge of this vessel now. The Democracy officer awaits you on the bridge. Welcome to the Galactic War.
Okay, onto the bridge. I never wanna feel like I did that day. Take him to the place I love. Take it all away. Let me, yeah, get into settings before I get into anything right now. It's a good thing that I have the cover of commercial because this is a really great time to do this. Graphics, presets, yeah, customs. Let's really dial down that frickin' motion blur. Depth of field, yes. Bloom off though. Sharpness, let's bump that down to 65. Textures, object details, render distances, shadow quality, low. Okay, particle quality, medium. Reflection quality, low. Space quality, ambient occlusion. Yeah, I'll keep it on. Vegetation rumble, medium. Terrain, medium. Fog, low. Clouds, low. Lighting, I'll keep it there. Aliasing, I'll keep that there. And no help from the graphic, because I more than likely just don't even have that. Okay, so actually, then I need to save. Okay, so I need to save by pressing Y. There we go. Okay, so we're good. And now, okay, there's my cuz. All right. Hey, how you doing, buddy? I wish I knew how to emote. Okay. That's something that counts as an emote right there. If I there we go. That's a hug. First time we've seen each other. Oh, so like I said, is that right now I'm on open mic. If you want to turn it on in game 2, then we actually might be able to have a chat here. Otherwise, then we can just go ahead and we can start the first mission. I'll follow your lead on this because it's more than likely, you know, you can call up things and get us onto the battlefield faster than I can. Yep, I know it's you. Let's see. I'm just telling you is that you can actually mic chat with me if you get into the in-game mic, but that's up to you. Or, you know, the other thing I didn't do, I didn't check my Discord, as I know that you asked about my Discord. Let me see if you actually sent me a friend request. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Direct messages, friends, friend requests, pending. I don't see anything at the moment. Okay, well, regrettably, yeah. Well, so I'm here and you're here with me. I'm telling you right now that if you would like to, you can use in-game chat to talk with me, or you can go ahead and continue to send me that request on Discord. It's all good. I have everything open right now. Okay, so let's see. Use the war table. Okay, there we are. There we are. Okay, so what I understand is that this has to kind of be like a global terrain type of system. Is that the more that we do missions, the more that we're actually capable of changing this map. All right, so there's a significant amount right now missing here in the Quintus, and then just an enormous amount that's available here in Terminus. All right, so let me see. Operation 1, quite literally first one that I can find. Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, how you doing? It's good to hear from you. I know that it's been a really long time. So let's see, what can we do here? Well, select the mission. Well, now I can hear, I was able to hear you, but now I cannot. I don't know if something happened there. Or maybe you got pressed to talk on, I don't know. Well, at any rate, Yep, hell pods are open. Time to sit down in them. You've got a war room table. I am more than happy to just run around it in circles. All right. For our current vague and indescribable concept of freedom. All right. You know, no doubt I'm just like in a default outfit at this point. Okay, ready up. Offensive or supply? That is the question. All right. Okay.
Well, once we get on the planet, you have to use your stratagems to bring those things down.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I have to press the ready button, which is actually select. Sometimes I get a little bit confused with the Xbox controller. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it.
I bought like a pair of, relatively good Xbox controllers. One of them was new, one of them was used, and I used them on both my PC, and I used them on my Steam Deck. And so I'm resyncing them all of the time. It's a bit of an annoying thing, but I'm capable of making it happen. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna drop in and we're gonna get the stratagems so we can do the mission.
All right, let's do this. I've had dreams like this. All right. Okay. Well, I wish I could be a bit more strategic, but right now I'm already being attacked by crabs, so. Tap my X. See, I'm trying to tap instead of hold. Why won't you let me tap instead of hold? There you go. Ouch. I guess we joined this one a little bit in progress.
It's all good.
Yep. All right. Oh, I have to. Yeah, I had to hit your reinforce. Something else funny is happening is that I'm not seeing my control. I'm not seeing my controller buttons. I'm still seeing the keyboard. Maybe I just need to click more directly into this. All right, so reinforce ready. I'm supposed to press. Okay, reinforce ready, then. See, why are you showing me my keyboard? I don't need my keyboard controls right now. I have like close personal friends who will tell me don't even bother with keyboards, just learn how to use a mice and keyboard. But then I also have just like really bad carpal tunnel sometimes. I'm gonna hit the keyboard. Okay, so reinforce ready, press 8. Since you're on the mic, you feel free to tell me if I'm actually doing something completely wrong here.
Okay, stop shooting me.
Huh?
Stop shooting me.
Oh, what? Are you in front of me and did I accidentally shoot you?
Yeah, I'm trying to move.
All right, sorry about that. So, am I looking at you now? Are you F2?
Yes, I'm F2.
All right.
I'll clear away. You want to go over there?
Uh-huh.
Get that stuff.
Yep. I'm feeling slightly out of touch with the natural way of doing things.
It's okay.
Uh-huh.
Once in a while,
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
do this all the time. I'm 50 years old and I still play video games.
Oh, well, put me down for 43 today.
Yeah, get that blinking light. Get it?
Yep. Uh-huh.
It's over there.
Yep.
I'm glad you're doing this for autism awareness.
Yeah.
You know my stepson's autistic. You know that, right?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, when it comes to all the time that I spent around various different members of our extended family, I've always had my suspicions. I got my first diagnosis when I was actually working on my master's degree here at in Denver, University of Colorado, Denver. Go Lynx, you know. And so, yeah, it really just opened my eyes a lot. Is that, there was just a lot of things that I was doing that, my past started to make sense. All the problems I used to have in grade school, things like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what do you think was the sign that really put you to start looking into being diagnosed as autistic?
I mean, the key thing is that, I felt like I was making just a lot of, very rookie and fundamental mistakes while I was going for my master's degree. And so I obviously had to say that, okay, something's got to give here. And so then I went to the college's counseling department. So, it's just basically that diagnosis. They gave me an outline that, helped me in order to identify a lot of what my major symptoms are, a lot of what my very specific tendencies tend to be. And I've basically just kind of been using it like a roadmap, At different times, as I've been on things like antidepressants, I've found different counselors. I've done just a lot of things in order to just help to keep myself on as healthy a mental health path as possible. And, as you remember, particularly when we used to hang out, is how much of a squirrely little kid I used to be. I'm still a squirrely little kid, but, I'm at least one that can actually do things that are healthy and productive. So that's a very good thing. All right.
What do you do as a 15-year-old going through high school and wants to date?
Like, if you're 15 years old and you're going through high school and you want to date, is that the question?
Yeah, my stepson Jacob wants to
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
he feels awkward.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, when it comes to matters of the heart, I'm still a little bit, on the fence when it comes to those sorts of things.
Okay.
When you date and, you happen to be on the spectrum, you're always going to kind of find yourself in a place where, you might, date somebody who's neurotypical and they just really aren't really equipped to handle some of those things that you might have, some of those little idiosyncrasies. And that can be a difficult thing. But also, if you just kind of do what you can in order to, like, find your own people, do everything within your own social circles, continue to meet people who share your hobbies and share your personal interests, then eventually, you are going to click with somebody. And, that person is going to become that very special person for you. That's basically what my advice would be, is, I think the most important thing if you're in any social situation and you're on the spectrum is that you have to, well, let me see. Well, what's the best way to put this? You have to be a person who is always reassessing who they are inside. And so that's a really, really important part about it, is that anytime you're in a situation, situations get too stressful, you start to experience anxiety, you start to have meltdowns. That's when you really have to ask yourself the great big question, what can I do in order to, help myself in that situation? And, you have to do it for yourself, and then eventually, once you get really well into the practice of doing it, then you actually have to learn how to do it with others. You have to communicate with others, first of all. The second thing that you have to do is that, you have to try to develop your, your ability to be a really empathetic person. Is that somebody who has the empathy to understand what other people are going through and the ability to tell people what you are going through, And I think maybe a lot of this sounds like it's very broad. And a lot of this also just kind of has a tendency to feel a little bit daunting, but it's a long road ahead. Is that, once you're chasing the ability to have a good, solid mental health profile, it takes work, but it is the most worth it thing in the world, in my opinion.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm gonna talk to him about it. And
Mm-hmm.
throw me in because I died because I was playing around and I got hit by a meteor.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to go to your point right now, just using the waypoint finder.
Yeah, you can throw me wherever. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. I actually have to press the reinforcement button. Up, down, up, down, right, left, up. Okay. There we go.
All right, we're gonna extract that. We did all the missions.
Yeah.
I'm just messing around. I'm just
Uh-huh.
some time.
That's what I really like, about well, this game is really starting to intrigue me just because of that one mechanic that you actually have to call in everything using button combinations, because that makes all the difference. If this were any other arena battler, I'd be waiting for you to automatically respond. We're not doing that. You have to watch your 20. You've got to take care of your teammates the entire time you're playing this. That's pretty damn cool.
That's why I love this game. I've been playing. I have like 600 hours already playing it
Uh-huh.
because I love this type of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a team game.
Yep.
Good, call us in.
All right, calling us in.
I pointed behind you.
Oh, just using this beacon right here, or that beacon right there. Let's see, that over there, that's a street lamp. This is the extraction point. Right, down, left, up, down, right, up. Whenever I have to do I found that anytime I have to do any touchpad combination, I have a tendency to have to say it out loud. If I ever played a game that was particularly hard in my childhood, it used to be Simon, because Simon was the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around. Just continue to put in, colored like sequences until you've screwed it up. And that's, that was always something that was really hard for me to do. All right. Yep. We are in the Plants vs. Zombies mode right now. 100% tower defense. Yeah. Well, I love a ton of games. Is that somebody the other day, I was on Blue Sky social media, and I was somebody was saying, oh, there's this really cool website that you can join where you can just basically check boxes and show people all of the video games that you have ever played. So, and I said to them, my brother in Christ, if you ever wanted to see every single video game that I have ever played, you're going to need to give me my own website. You're going to have to give me my own damn server. Because there have been so many, all of the Commodore 64 games that I used to play with you, and then all of the PC DOS games that I used to play with some of my friends. I used to play online games on websites like Shockwave, and even the fact that I used to play games on Newgrounds, it sounds even just the tiniest bit archaic compared to what the way some people have. And then, of course, I have this coming up on 800 games long Steam list that I continue to play on, you know?
Let's extract.
So I think something that I was saying just as you had gotten off a little bit earlier this morning is the fact that, you know, I might feel a little bit of a pang of discomfort over the fact that I might not be getting the Switch 2 right away, simply because that people are looking at this new upcoming Donkey Kong game, and it's like the quest for fire for them. It is something that they just immediately and thoroughly need, you know? And, you know, I'm really happy when it comes to that, but at the same time, I know that this is the game that Nintendo has been playing me my entire life, is that you spend 5 or 6 years sitting on one of your storied video game franchises, and then you choose to bring it back, and then everybody is just rabid for it immediately afterwards. You know, it's really hard you know, at my age particularly, it's hard to feel that way about just one game. I love everything that comes to me, you know. Some of my favorite games right now are literally $5 or $6 games that I bought off of Steam. I was just playing Balatro before we came on. That is one of my all-time favorite games right now. So, full stop. You know, it's just a simple little game where you make poker hands, and it's quite literally the game that I spend most of my free time playing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. All right, so, well, oh, goody, we get to unlock easy mode now. This game is making me feel so accomplished. Uh-huh. Yep. All right. So let's see, where can we go here? Well, I'm just going to continue to pick on yellow simply because I'm not about to walk back any of the progress that's being created by the game aggregate at large. You know. So, okay, so I've got to say that at this point, you know, I have actually been I've been doing the stream for actually quite about like 4 years now. And the person who knew about this the most was our Dia. I was trying to get myself in a position where I'd tell my Dia, and then I was hoping that Dia would tell everyone else in the family, you know. So compared to that, yeah, well, it kind of didn't work because Dia kind of really doesn't know what like a streaming website and social media and things like that are. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's that, you know, my old man does the absolute same thing, you know. I think the thing that really made the difference is because I continued to tell her about specifically this, the fact that I'm using this platform in order to raise money for autistic self-advocacy. And so, you know, that is where, you know, I think a lot of people are starting to get on board, you know, just the simple fact that, you know, I just continue to use this in order to, you know, raise money for the good cause. Okay, so.
Oh, we landed with someone.
Did we? Oh, okay, there was. Got a.
To help an SOS.
Okay, rando. You know. I'm gonna continue to fight and shoot into the grimy nothing at probably nothing that is actually there.
Yeah, that's
You know.
the orange stuff is coming out of the ground, the bugs.
You know, I lowered my fog a little bit, so I'm getting a little bit of that, you know, N64 style draw distance kind of thing on my screen. You know, I can play through that because I used to play the Nintendo 64.
Very true.
You say, draw distance is not my godmother. Okay. I am commandeering these vehicles. All right, so let me see. Okay. Nothing too dire to. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna go to raise the flag.
All right. This actually is one of those node missions, isn't it?
Yes.
So, me personally, I never played a single game of Unreal Tournament. But the third Ratchet and Clank game on the on the PlayStation 2 had a mode that was extremely similar to it. Deathmatch, node capture, the flag, it had everything exactly like it. All right. Okay, totally the wrong weapon. There we go. I need to press up to heal myself. Didn't they cover this with you in basic training?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. That's precisely. I guess I just wasn't listening. Yeah, it happens. That's kind of part of the mission that I'm undergoing at the moment. Anytime somebody employs somebody who's on the spectrum, it happens.
Right.
I space out multiple times during the day. I space out several times while I'm streaming and playing video games here. And, just offhand is that, if you just continue to want to, ask your son to talk to me, send me text messages, DMs, call over Discord, I'd be more than happy to do that for him. I try to do what I can for Garina's son, Jared, but unfortunately, he's got some things that are, even more unique when it comes to his situation. Yeah, I'm dead.
No, bring us in.
Oh, okay. I'm dead, yes. I think, yeah. This time, this guy, Frylock, is the one who has managed to stay alive in our team.
Yeah, because I'm trying to wait for my stepson to get here.
Yeah.
So that's why I leave the keyboard.
Uh-huh. Okay, we're back. Thank you, Rando. Oh, I did that and then I immediately took drop damage. I had to remember there are such things as high cliffs in this game. Actually doing point in this game is something that seems to be pretty hard. Just because, yeah, I feel like, yeah, the holes that the insects emerge from look different on every map. Okay, well. So this is where we're getting jumped in, as I'm beginning to understand. First mission was almost over. This mission is hordes aplenty.
True.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay, that is going to look really bad on my TPS report. Okay, it looks like we're still alive now anyway. Just because of the right hand way you have a tendency to throw grenades, is I just find myself throwing a lot of wild grenades into the horde pits. You know, I don't actually need to use these things for mission objectives. No siree. You know, in a funny roundabout way, this is probably something that's felt more like war than most of the other types of shooters I played, including Call of Duty. So the fact that, you know, you're in the middle of a sand pit and you have no idea what the hell's going on, I'm pretty sure that's what war is like for a lot of people.
True.
Oh. All right. I don't know if you personally have any military experience.
No.
No.
I work for fire department.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that sort of thing can be, yeah. That is like beyond complicated in its own way. Uh-huh. I think at this point I don't have any. I'm not armed with anything except my grenades.
Oh.
Let me get my own resupply. All right. Okay, so. Okay, now let me see what I can actually ammo. Say, oh, don't tell me that I dropped my guns and then I do need to resupply those too.
Yeah, you drop a resupply.
Oh, great. See, everybody on the front line right now is wondering what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm streaming all of this. This is on video for folks. So, you know, let me get that machine gun. I loves my automatic. Let's see if at the end of all this I can actually run fast enough in order to join the rest of the group. All right. So one thing that I have to acquiesce at this point is that this is a lot more fun than when it was when I was playing Destiny.
Destiny is hard to play.
Well, I mean, more imminently, you know, Destiny is, you know, it was free to play, but also at the same time, it was just really, really straightforward when it came to shooting and multiplayer. It has largely to do the fact that it's a game by Bungie. So, you know, they really had a certain legacy that they had to uphold when it comes to multiplayer.
True.
Tell myself that I have to reload, you know, so my gun doesn't go kaput again. Spit acid on me, will ya, wise guy? Okay, reinforcements. You know, close. I mean, a guy that I just respawned cannot be happy that I respawned them so far back, but there you go. Uh-huh. You know, this is how you play support. I mean, it's certainly how I play support when I play Marvel Rivals. See, me too squishy for the front line. Me better stay behind and heal everyone. I also play tank because it's the single longest way I'm capable of surviving. All right. Well, that hurt. But I'm back. You know, I like that, you know, when it comes to different types of guns, they actually do illustrate a bit about what it would actually take to reload a gun on the field. Okay. Something just jumped up and bit me in the buttocks. Okay, I see the beacon, but then there's a part of me that feels like I don't want to trust it. Like if I'm playing an escape room or something. This ain't my first rodeo, but there's certainly a bunch of different looking clowns. Okay, there you are, you little spitter. Hey, you know, I don't mind, but, you know, usually I get dinner first. They got the cooties. They quite honestly are the cooties. Okay, yeah, I screwed up the directive again. You guys are still playing. Maybe I'm not the one who should be pressing the button. Mm-hmm. So we theoretically did something good, which is probably why the theming of this game is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna end every single one of these missions with a great big fat question mark over your head. I mean, is there any point in looting the supply cabinet once somebody has already touched a beacon?
What do you mean?
I mean, because we're still, we managed to capture a point, but I'm assuming there's still enemies around.
Well, I don't know. If you hit the tab button, there's enemies that are
Oh,
coming.
somebody just shot me. All right, there we go.
Be careful.
Yeah. Okay, there seems to be a wave coming. Okay, I was a little preemptive and all of that. You know, just like any other, arena shooter, I am doing everything I can in order to focus on the things that I can do. And in this case, it's actually looking out for enemies. So they're just playing all of this very championing victory music so that, it's just part of the prevailing propaganda that is present in this theming. Yeah.
And now we gotta get it to say, be careful. Killed.
My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Yeah. Okay, I can already predict that, I can find just a great big cluster of social social media that is ready to say liberty me daddy, etc.
You're gonna have to back us out of this group so we can just be you and I again.
All right.
We're in a group.
Okay. Well, I can't say that I haven't actually liked the air of competency in my playing. All right. Doesn't seem like anybody else is on open mic, so we're,
Everybody's same level. I'm the only one that's 99. Everybody's 3 and 5s.
I see. Say the best guns are the ones you're with. And yeah, we both look pretty identical at the end of that last melee right there.
Okay, so we gotta get out of here because this is.
Yeah. Okay, backing out. Okay, so right stick social. Okay, we're still here, but then the
Come over here, Michael.
all right.
And then just hit E. Or
E.
whatever you hit. You gotta come over here.
Okay.
And then it tells you to turn to ship.
X acquisitions. Turn to ship.
Allied destroyer has left squadron.
Well, one of the two people have left. Okay, there it is. Return the ship home. It's like it's there in the middle of the floor. They couldn't even bother to have been made up by like a console that you press in order to do that. I'm probably standing like right inside of those drop pods, and then I just don't even notice it. Okay, back to social. Invite to squad.
Welcome aboard, Helldiver. The Galactic War needs you. Allied destroyer has joined squadron.
Okay, so now you're back on my set. Is there something that you want me to continue to do in the social, just to make absolutely sure that like we don't get rejoined or anything like that?
Yeah, don't hit the R button or another button that says, like, if you're looking for someone that has a blinking, like what you did was you answered an SOS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's easier just to learn how to play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, well, this is your gun Pokedex right over here. You know, assault rifle, marksman rifle. You know, rather continue to use the semi-automatic than anything that is, for some reason, still has a bayonet in it, even though we're in outer space. I'm assuming that at level 99 you have an enormous amount of potential loadouts to choose from. Okay, so right here, you know, this is where we're going to be having our other ad. Thank you, everybody, for staying tuned in. Is that things have been in a funny, you know, just in a funny way, really, really far out from what I usually do for a stream, but in a good way. It means that I'm actually, you know, making my goals when it comes to the charity and also trying a lot of new and interesting stuff. So I'm really, really pleased with how things have been going.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to? We already liberated this planet.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
We gotta move on to another one. Look, it says there.
see, now that's a planet of a different color.
So let's back out.
Uh-huh. All right.
Back to the orange. Bugs are easier.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Do you want to play just one more? Cause I gotta get to the fam.
Yeah, all right.
With you.
Yeah, we'll try just one more. All right.
So like that one.
Yeah.
You'd click in there,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then pick one of them.
Okay, well, the Operation Defend Planet, that sounds easy enough.
Yeah, we gotta save people, so we gotta be on the mark.
Mm-hmm.
And how's your day going?
Well, since I've dedicated most of the day to my stream, as I can say, yeah, this is probably the best way that I could be spending my time on my birthday.
Well, I'm glad I could spend it with you.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm trying to do a little bit more just to, you know, try to live the dream, do everything I can in order to make this more of a active and lucrative part of my life, like virtually anybody else who's streaming on Twitch. Okay, so... Oh, I accidentally canceled something.
Yeah, you did. You canceled this.
Uh-huh. Alright. The last time we went in here, all I had to do was press select. Let's see. I guess we're looking for Yeah, extraction point. Okay, then ready up. There, that's what I was. That's what I wasn't doing right. Okay, so offensive and supply, and then yeah, there we go. I can already, looking forward to leveling up and then just getting those last 2 or 3 slots that seem to be missing. That's what I'm going to get once I, get a little bit further in this game. Absolutely. It's good to be able to catch up with you again. I mean, I think that is really necessary to be said.
Oh yeah, that's why our aunt said that you're. I said okay. I'm down.
Yeah. And so, you're probably a person who is a pretty big gamer. Probably the third person that I might want to actually try this on would be our cousin Tommy Ray.
Oh yeah. Right.
So we'll continue to talk about this. Is that I'll make sure that I, cement your phone number on my cell phone, and then I can just send you text messages, see if we can get Ray involved as well.
Yeah. I know he's on a lot.
He and I used to spend a lot of time surrounding the El Paso anime convention. I remember that. So, and of course, I'm not as much into anime anymore, but there is just some significant things that I still involve myself when it comes to direct from Japan video games. I even play virtual versions of Go and Mahjong, if you can believe that. I like all of these really deep and involved strategy games. I'm playing some of the world's oldest, centuries old classic board and strategy games. This is what I have wrought within myself. Have bored will travel. That's basically the way that I try to live my life now.
I'm gonna throw a machine gun so we can protect us a little bit.
Yeah. So, I definitely like the fact that I am taking some pretty good pot shots at the bugs from a very far distance, even though I'm using an automatic.
Get some ammo. I'm gonna knock this thing out so we can move forward quicker.
All right.
And your brother doesn't play this?
No, my brother barely plays video games anymore. Yeah, he gave it up slightly at the time that, he had went into the middle of Texas and started going to MSU. Is that there were times, this was in the very, very early days of free downloadable web games. He used to play You Don't Know Jack the Web Show. And then he also used to play Quake, which was freeware at the time.
We forgot to go over here first.
Eventually he got mad at Quake because, there was a depiction of somebody on a crucifix, and, that always kind of stuck very badly with my brother. But, I'm sure that, he would be a little bit more leveled about it these days. And as it so happens, Quake is one of the games I have on my Steam Deck right now.
And Jeff doesn't like to play these?
No, Jeff doesn't play video games at all.
At all?
No, I mean, the best way to describe Jeff is that, he's an incredibly, what would be the best way to put this? He's an incredibly trendy person. He's all about fancy clothes. He's all about fancy shoes. He's all about, he got his electric car. Yeah, he's like that. He's an incredibly good person. But, that's just basically where his, that's basically where his tastes are.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's more than a decent guy.
Yeah, we're rough.
Yeah, well, I mean, we want things with a little more texture. There's nothing wrong about that. And in my case, it's always been, I've just consumed anything that was ever directly in front of me. If there are self-help books, I'll read them in front of me. If there are still Looney Tunes on the network television, I will watch them. That's who I've always been.
Looney Tunes.
Uh,
I hardly ever see them anymore.
these days, there's an over-the-air station for them. It's called MeTV Tunes.
Where?
Over-the-air television, like digital television that you pick up with an antenna.
Interesting.
Yeah. Get yourself a pair of rabbit ears and then figure out where your El Paso based MeTV rerun station is. That's more than likely it'll be the channel next door to it. Just a new network that shows 24 hours of classic cartoons, because for some reason the cable networks don't want them anymore.
Interesting, because I have over the air. It's just I've never seen that.
So,
Why don't you plug in the numbers while is off?
all right. Okay, that's loading right now.
Okay.
What was I just talking about?
Jeff.
Jeff. Yeah, I mean, I like Jeff. He's a nice guy. He's very generous. There's been a situation or two that he's actually tried to help me out in a very personal way. But, I decided to go in different directions from him. There was one time when I was actually, he was trying to help me open up like a branch of the tea shop that he runs in California. So I'd just be able to have that as my own business. I went in a slightly different direction, though. I decided to go back and get my master's degree.
Oh, okay.
So he's a person who cares a lot, and he's a person who's just very deeply embedded in the business of the family, which is really good for an in-law.
Well, that's cool. As long as he's a cool dude, man. Be careful. I'm sending in an eagle.
Yes, what do you have to do when you're a president? You just call in the army and point them and tell them where to shoot.
All right, let's do this other mission here. Right here.
Yep.
Okay, just get the terminal. Hit the terminal so I can start.
Yeah, all right.
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a lot of teamwork.
It has to be, for it to be a good squad shooter.
Now we gotta just find ammo and put it into the cannon.
Oh, okay. Like, we're gonna search for waypoints for where the ammo is.
Yeah, it's around here. It's not too far. They don't make it too hard.
No, I mean, this is big, I can see that this is the game's way of doing a point protection racket. The enemies are going to keep coming at you until you can actually arm the cannon and blow them all to smithereens.
And that's true.
Uh-huh.
We're almost done. I think we just need to find one more.
Uh-huh. All right.
Or two more. Holy shit, here they are.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't too far off from that crack about this being Plants vs. Zombies.
Uh-huh. We need to find one more.
Mm-hmm.
One more ammo. One more shell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh, no. I did that to you, I think.
It tells me who.
Okay. Yeah, so you know for certain. Well,
It's okay, buddy.
yeah, I know. You know,
I was like, oh,
the very definition of friendly fire, that's what it is. I just shot at those dead bodies too, so. Say, war. It goes on and 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 on a lot. I think there was like a third party that actually managed to join in again. And that's probably what saved both our collective hash.
yeah, just be careful, don't shoot him.
Uh-huh. Fair warning at this point. Yikes.
Careful.
Mm,
You got him.
yep.
All right, let's move on.
Well, as an elective, you know, just try to kill everything that was still climbing over that hill. Or you can call it an airstrike. That seems a lot more efficient. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna stick around really close to you, so if you ever want to hit me back.
That's all right.
Oh boy. My Twitch, the old Twitch skills aren't what they used to be. I mean, you know, broadcasting on Twitch is perfectly fine. You know, being able to manipulate my controller in an effective way has fallen off a little bit.
It happens,
Mm-hmm.
buddy.
Yep. All right. Something that I've taken an extraordinary amount of time getting used to is just, you know, tapping the X button in order to make sure that I can climb up cliff sides.
Yeah, man. You gotta just get used to it.
Yeah.
Brainy cat.
Yep. So, I'm sure you'll have a thing to say about me offline about, you know, suddenly learning that I'm one of these original character tubers and also a pretend talking cat on the internet.
Don't worry about it.
Uh-huh.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever wanted, I can do this for you, because your screen name is Mickey Raton. That would be a pretty easy thing in order to, draw a cartoon of.
Right?
As I recall, you used to be pretty good with a pencil yourself.
No.
You know?
I think you got me. I mean, I'm good with creating stuff, but for some reason,
Yeah.
I cannot draw to save my life.
Ah, okay. Well, as I remember, you probably had some things, but maybe it was something in the way of you were freehanding it or you were tracing it, something like that. But that was like ages ago. Yeah.
I can trace. I'm good at
Hmm.
stuff like that with trace and
I mean, if you can spare the time and attention, you would be just about the perfect person to, join in things like tabletop role playing and things like that. Because yeah, you do. You got your own Dungeons and Dragons groups, etc.
yeah, for Warhammer, it was remember it was a board game first.
Oh yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
then just
I have a physical Warhammer set right now. I literally haven't done anything with it because it's something in the neighborhood of, uh, 150 individual pieces that, I do need to assemble and then paint. So it's taken me an incredibly long time. I did the biggest parts first. I already built the transport vehicle. I already built the mech. That's not even my biggest set of miniatures. The biggest set of miniatures is that I completed a Kickstarter for a miniatures game based on Batman the Animated Series. If you remember that, if you remember Batman the Animated Series. Uh-huh. So, as part, yeah. So the Kickstarter, even though I ordered the basic set, like hundreds and hundreds of people still spent extra money making the add-ons. So as a result of that, I have something in the neighborhood of 300 original pieces in this one board game, and they all do need to be painted still.
how long do you think it'll take you to paint them all?
Well, I don't know about it, but there's a part of me that's saying is that once I get a little bit more settled into the transition that I'm currently doing, I'm going to start putting those up on a webcam and I'm going to start painting them on stream. So that's just another way in order to make all of you lovely people some content.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it definitely would be. You know, probably one of the very next things I have to do is the Joker. So that is definitely something that is going to be eye-catching. That was easy enough to do. I just had to stand here.
Now, just make sure you don't shoot the poor
Yeah.
innocent advocacy.
Yeah, we will, get a very bad mark on our weekly performance review. I'm gonna do the most logical thing. I'm just gonna continue to keep my eyes peeled for any of the bugs. That our fair weather friend over there has already found the whole colony. Go back and do the tutorial again just so I can figure out how to maneuver around the walls again. This is the far from the right way to do this, but a little shrapnel never hurt anybody.
Now, don't shoot these people. They'll get mad.
Yes.
Trust me, they get mad.
Well, it's really fortunate that they actually took the time in order to pretty severely differentiate the citizens from the giant, ugly monster creatures that we're fighting. Otherwise, I would probably be pretty dead in the water when it comes to this game.
It's very popular, believe it or not.
Oh no.
Super popular.
Oh, I know it. I run into people on Twitch playing it all the time.
No, no, it's a good game. I love it.
You know, there's still a part of me that loves the slightly more simplistic, cartoony ones like Overwatch, and right now since I'm playing Marvel Rivals, but I can't ever discount a game because it's good. I've dipped my toe in everything. Is that I played a significant amount of Call of Duty, have controller, will travel. That's the other way to put that. Aurora Cosmic says, happy birthday. Thank you very much, Aurora. Say, welcome to the stream. As I'm actually in the middle of some Helldivers multiplayer with my real-life cousin. That's been really special right now.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a while, like you said earlier. We haven't connected in years.
Yeah, And well, so much of that was, I came up over here to Colorado, and I was just using it as my biggest personal opportunity in order to, try to find myself.
Nothing wrong. Everyone has an opportunity to find themselves.
Well,
Lost for a while.
yeah. Well, it took some time, but I'm actually in a place where I feel probably more contented with the decisions that I make and who I am, more than I have been for most of my life.
Alright, we're gonna extract now, so go to the blue where the map shows.
Yeah.
It's time to, or you can see it. Can you see the blue light?
The blue light.
Yeah. Look
Yeah.
at
Okay.
the-
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
laser beam.
Yeah. I'm headed toward it. There's a few things that I do have to tell you about, like when it comes to my last few years in El Paso and things like that. But I'll save that one a little bit more when we're talking over the phone.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear the cuz. Well, unfortunately, we're going to be wrapping this one up in a couple of minutes, and then he's going to be getting off. So, I wish I could do better. Is that we kind of did this a little bit spur of the moment, but then afterwards we can go ahead, we can go back, we can set up the Discord, do the whole 9 yards. Ouch.
Yeah, next time we'll do the Discord thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Discord has been such a great boon because I've always felt like, how can I put this? Yeah, anything that is like an in-game mic or something like that has never been up to my standards.
Yeah, and I couldn't get. I guess we didn't hook up where we could do the Discord.
Well, like I said, I'll go ahead and send you another like text message over the phone, and then we can finish that one up. Yeah. Well, thanks once again for tuning in. Is that, right after this, we're just going to immediately be switching to another game. I don't know which one yet, but that's also just kind of part of the enjoyment of the situation. It's Easter and it's my birthday, and I just get to play anything that I want. Probably not the way that you want a 43-year-old man to phrase things in that way, but, it gives me a little bit of personal enjoyment to do so.
Also, they can't hear me speaking.
Yeah.
But they can.
Well, no, that they're still having a hard time. But like I said, is that we're at the end of this mission. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to work it out so that you can come and you can do another show. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, we can do another show.
So yes, we'll put on the dog. You know, any way that you and I want to get things involved, any way that any other members of the family might want to get things involved.
I'm down.
Yeah, you know.
Just gotta get them involved.
So I'm personally very happy that this happened today because, like I said, I was trying to get it done through Artia, and this is, you know, Artia is one of the nicest people in the whole world, but there's so much about this she doesn't know how to personally communicate. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. You know, and we've always gotten well, you know, really well on a personal level. Is that we've always been really close as family members.
Yes, we have.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
Wow, it's a real 4th of July out there right now. You happen to know the words to Fortunate Son? Well, maybe not, because we actually might get music struck.
Oh, that's true.
You have a voice that is exactly like that of the original artist.
And Fogarty?
Sure. And Fogarty? Yeah, let's go with that.
No,
Dan Fogarty, that's what it is.
Dan. Not Dan.
Uh-huh.
Alright, let's go. Be careful. I don't want it to land on you.
You know, American folk music is one of those things that I also just have an obnoxious way of knowing everything about.
Alright, let's get in.
All right. This is the last thing you're trying to prevent me from doing. You're just trying to prevent this shuttle from landing on my head.
Yeah, because I see your character right under the back.
Haha.
And I'm like, oh no, it's gonna
All right. Very good. Very good.
Thank you. Have a happy and wonderful birthday. It was a pleasure playing Helldivers 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of games too. I'll look at games that we could play together when you're streaming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could play and can see if we could build your stream a little bit.
Yeah. As
Play some, huh?
yeah, I would like that a lot. And there's also an easy filter for this on Steam. I could even just look it up after we get off this game.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. All right. So yeah, once you know, we're able to get back to the loading screen, then we can sign off, and then I can go ahead and continue the rest of my stream for all these lovely people.
Yes, good luck. And
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry that they couldn't hear me. I guess because
Uh-huh.
they're on the game chat instead of the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have a wonderful day, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for coming. Is that this was very special on my birthday. Say, have a good day. All right. So, I think probably the best thing for me to do is just to go ahead and quit the game here. Okie dokie. So, that was fun. That was a layer of interesting. That was something that was completely unexpected. That was something that I wasn't even expecting to do. He's in the chat again. He's saying, happy birthday, had fun. And that was definitely probably one of the wildest things that I possibly could have done during the stream. Things are unexpected today, but you know, I'm more than happy to be expecting the unexpected. Let me see. I need to go back to the fundraiser total board right now. Just go ahead and give this a quick refresh and see if we've actually managed to get any new numbers on the board. We haven't. You know, we're still sitting incredibly well at the $235 that you see on the screen above. And like I said, I'm over the moon about it. Is that it always takes a certain amount of push in order to do the work of a streamathon. And so, you know, I'm more than happy that, you know, things have actually been working out quite well. I think I'm more than going to actually have to refresh this. Let me see if there's something I can do about that. Okay, so review. Okay, so yeah, we're still at $235. You know, and like I said, it's fantastic is that anything that anybody can give throughout the month of April in order to help me to continue to do this, it is, you know, it's fantastic. As I'm glad that you guys care so much about this cause that is also very near and dear to my heart. And that's really all I gotta say about that. Is that at some point, everybody who has donated more than $20 is going to be receiving a message so that they can be able to redeem a transparent PNG fish stick customized directly to them that they can use on social media. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get in contact with a lot of these people pretty soon. And I'm going to start making them their custom art, which is a fantastic thing. I might even dedicate a whole stream to doing that. So I'm just going to glance around my list really quick as I'm trying to think specifically what I might actually want to get into. I've already mentioned that I might want to play UFO 50, but I think I might want to say that closer to the end of the chat because that'll give me an opportunity to just bounce around a little bit towards the end and just play multiple games until the time runs out in the Streamathon. So I'm going to save it for that moment. There's a handful of these things here that I downloaded that I hadn't played yet. I downloaded an enormous amount of games during the most recent Twitch the most recent Steam sale. This past Steam Spring sale that happened this during March. I got a ton of games from that, and it's a significant amount of it. There was a lot that I was just kind of trying to download because I decided to sell my Switch, and so I just needed copies of it that would go onto my Steam Deck. But they were, once again, they were like $5 or $6 a piece, so it was really easy for me in order to make those replacements. Let me see. Just take a really quick glance at everything that I have just loaded right now, and decide what I'm going to play next. Not too long ago, I was in the middle of a game of Sonic Mania's Encore mode, and I didn't finish it. So that's precisely what I'm going to be doing now. I'm going to be going back to Sonic Mania Encore mode. All right, so let me just, I do apologize because Sonic Mania is kind of a fussy game in order to keep on a Twitch main screen. Oh yeah, we're here now. It's cool. So I left off on, I believe it was, we were in the middle of Oil Ocean Zone. That's where we are. So this is actually the save file right here. All right. Is that the two characters that I seem to have on my team right now are the two exclusive characters, Ray and Mighty. Ray the Armadillo and, Ray the Flying Squirrel and Mighty the Armadillo. Okay. I think I also made a very strong emphasis on the fact that, I really, really dislike Oil Ocean Zone. It's just one of the hardest levels I could play, both in Sonic 2 and also in this game. It's just a really, really fussy and difficult level to play, Let's see. We haven't gotten to the gimmick of this stage, which also just involves, blotting out the sky using, eventually the sky is going to get blotted out using fog, and then afterwards, you have to hit switches in order to make the fog disappear for a few short seconds. Which, like I said, really, really obnoxious gimmick. All right. Okay. It's a little bit annoying to do this with Mighty. So as soon as I can actually get lined up with Ray again, I'm going to switch to him. All right. Because there's something just very immediately fun with the prospect of dealing with a bunch of rapidly bouncing platforms that are surrounded by instant death spikes. All right. You know, they make super cuts and smash cuts of these kinds of things on YouTube. You know, call it all the worst parts of incredibly good games, number 5. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. We're now with this vaguely Earthworm Jim looking robot that throws wrenches. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, that killed me instantly. That's another thing I don't like about this stage. This stage has 2 bosses that have the capacity to kill you immediately. Why does everything have to be so hard? Where am I supposed to go when that happens? Oh, look at that. I succeeded in bumping off Mighty now, too. Now I just have Knuckles and Tails, which is, you know, not necessarily a bad thing, but it just goes to show how much difficulty I have when it comes to just this stage. All right. See, I wish I had any earthly idea what I'm doing now. I'm really just trying to use invincibility flames to do this. Okay, I've learned something very important about this whole situation. And it's the fact that, okay, it's possible for you to fall between the plugs and actually get crushed by them. Which is probably what's been killing me this whole time. Well, I'm going to do my level best in order to get through Act 2 with just Tails. Silently hope that I'm going to be able to unlock enough bonus rooms so that I can get my friends back. You know. I always save Tails for last because, you know, at least Tails has the ability to really fly, and when he does, he's able to just reach places where there are hidden monitors and things and all that good stuff that you can actually use in order to get the better of the stage that you're playing. So what's annoying about this stage's gimmick is that it actually does eat away your rings if things are a little bit too foggy in the stage. All right. There we go. All of the springs in this stage have a delay that is just only helps to facilitate how hard it is to get between switches from one switch to another. You know, I just bounced off a rare, regular... And I just hit a switch monitor, which is meaningless because I don't have any teammates right now. Oh, drat, I didn't have enough to unlock the... Okay, well, I didn't have enough to unlock the bonus stage, and now I have a fire shield. The joyful thing about the fire shield is that you actually start setting fire to all of the oil that's on the stage whenever you run into it, which just kind of makes things even more cryptic because it makes things hard to see. I'm gonna keep hitting that monitor even though it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. Okay, ooh. Now that's something that I needed. I just needed a random sidekick. And you know, having it be the flying squirrel is actually a good thing. Alright.
Ah, that's an interesting perspective. Could you tell me more about why you think having it be the flying squirrel is a good thing? I'm curious to hear your reasoning.
I gotta be careful because if I don't have a shield, all of a sudden all that fire in the oil is gonna actually do damage to me. Alright. You know, been relatively adamant about staying with Tails because Tails actually has quite a bit of lasting power in this really difficult stage. They put these really obnoxious bouncing octopus enemies are all over the place. And then the boss at the end of it is just a giant obnoxious octopus that gets in the way. Okay, well, if I didn't have enough rings with 25, I'm definitely not going to have them with 16 and rapidly dropping because of the level gimmick. Okay, we're getting close to where the, Okay, I don't remember doing this sequence. I just happened to have fallen inside of one of the, submarines, and then there's just a roundabout way for the submarine to get through the submarine. I really could have grabbed that ring monitor, and that would have helped me out pretty significantly. Alright. I don't know what's keeping me from getting the Okay, you know what? Like I said, I'm gonna do this entire thing with Tails because Tails really just has the best chance of making it out of this alive. I really hate this little thing right here. That laser actually manages to shoot over the platforms and make waves. See, I heard a death sound, but it was actually my sidekick. That makes me pretty infernally nervous. Alright. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, no, no, no. Don't leave me without a ring. Please don't leave me without a ring. Oh, you're still leaving me without a ring. Okay. I destroyed a tentacle. I should be so proud. Why is this just such an unforgivably difficult boss? Okay, well. That makes everything just perfect. Okay, time to restart from the save file. I'm pretty sure I still have to start over at Act 1 even if I do continue. No, actually, no, they did leave me at 2, so... At least I got that going for me. Let's see. This is such an unforgiving stage. Alright. You know, given the fact that I sacrificed Tails, that means I have to play this as Ray, which quite honestly it isn't bad. But, you know, Tails would have been better. The worst part about it is that I know that there are still 3 or 4 stages after this. Alright. Okay. You know, might actually be worth my time to not continue to try to sail under the entirety of the level. Okay, free sidekick. It's gonna be Knuckles. Alright. Oof. I could have had a bonus ring too, but unfortunately, I totally did that wrong. Well, there's a part of me that doesn't even really care about the bonus rings for the simple reason that I'm not going to get 7 Chaos Emeralds during this run. That's just not going to happen. You know, getting Chaos Emeralds got really complicated from Sonic 3 and onward because you actually had to know where the giant rings were hidden. Whereas in Sonic 3 and 2, you could just enter the bonus stage at any point, and then you would be able to get the rings from there. Alright, well. I'm doing my usual good job. You know, I got Knuckles from the submarine. That means that I didn't succeed in getting a 3rd sidekick from... Okay, you want me to go into that again? Okay, then we'll go into the submarine again. That's perfectly fine. Alright. Alright. There, we did it again. The problem with this stage is that all the gimmicks actively work against each other, you know? I don't think there's any real way in order to get the bonus in that, the monitor bonus inside of that submarine, simply because I don't think that there's really a way in order to leap across that, you know? I would probably need Tails to do it. To do it as Ray would be too clumsy because I have to hydroplane as him in order to actually do any flying. Okay. I could really use more than rings right now. Okay, I got a Tails. The last person I would probably need is be save it would be Sonic, but I don't know. Maybe I'll find him in the monitor. I don't know. Okay. Who would be better to use here? Okay, I'm going to go with Knuckles. Ouch, 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 ouch. Really bad place to be. Really bad place to be. Can't escape. Can't escape this. Oh my god. I am going to die this way. Okay, well. Oh, get somewhere, Knuckles. Your jump is so ridiculously short, Knuckles. I can't climb the sides of the platforms. I'm getting so very tired of this. This is just way too clumsy a boss to even endeavor to try to defeat. The worst thing yet is that I also think you have to break apart every single one of its weapons until you finally defeat it. You know, I have to clobber everything. Oh, why did I go back here? I went back here just because of the checkpoint. Spare Ray this time. I'm gonna play as Mighty. I hate this octopus. Okay, for some reason, yeah, I cannot hurt the laser when it does that. Even though I'm playing as Mighty, and Mighty is supposed to have a ground stomp. Oy vey. Well, am I not allowed to hit it until it's done firing? Is that what's going on here? I'm pretty sure there's an octopus boss in Cuphead that's just as difficult as this one. Alright. Oh gosh and golly. Oh wow, well, a miracle occurred. That has to be the single clumsiest way that I have ever defeated a boss in the history of this stream. Say, I hope everyone's still out there, you know, doing alright. You know, no need to scare everyone off just because I'm in the middle of playing the single level in Sonic Mania that frustrates me the most. Okay, well... now we're back in Sonic 3 and we're playing Lava Reef Zone. You know, once again, let Tails take points so he can possibly find some hidden monitors and therefore some more hidden players and etc. Ow, ow. Alright. Okay, both of those were useless. You know, those have to do with, you know, switching with characters in your reserve, but right now I only have 2 characters. Alright. Ah, gee whiz. I'd like to say at this point it's great to be on terra firma, but, you know... even though I am more so than I was in the last stage, you know, it still doesn't feel like the ground is beneath me. Alright. Gee, what a boring device. right. All right, there we go. All right. Maybe I don't actually know how the checkpoints work. Maybe it doesn't have to do with rings. Maybe it just has to do with running into them at a certain speed. You know, just before the last time I actually played this game, we got through some of the best levels in Sonic Mania. We got through, well, of course, we got through Robotropolis. We got through, Press Zone, which was actually one of the original stages. We played through Stardust Speedway, which once again still has Metal Sonic as the boss of that stage. Oh no. Okay. Oh, I thought I was a goner there. Maybe they're just intentionally trying to scare you. The floor caves in there, but it doesn't really cave in because there's still enough floor there for you to stand on. You know. This isn't actually the Sega Genesis. We're not trying to go for the cheapest deaths that we possibly can. Alright. Well, so much for that. We have these little steam pipe bag nicks all over the place. You know, we don't want to... Okay, no, that's as far as that goes. Okay, well, at this point it has been extremely... Oh no. Oh, I was afraid that was gonna happen. Okay, well, let's try that sequence again with our very last character. Silly me, I thought things were gonna get easier from this point forward. You know, whatever I'm doing from this point forward, at least it's not more oil ocean. Alright. I don't know how well raspberries translate to streaming on Twitch, especially since I'm still using Reactive. Okay, well, where are we at right now? We're at 3:53. I think I'm gonna go on for just like another couple of hours. And so in order to do so, well, I mean, I have to get out of this first of all. I've been having the darndest time just quitting games today. That's kind of just a weird side effect of, you know, just having to work within the parameters of what I have chosen here. All right, so where do we want to go next? You know, well, as usual, you know, to use my downtime in order to check the board again. Right now we are at, yeah, still at 235. You know, it is fantastic that, you know, we were able to more than likely triple, you know, what we had already had as a streamer board, you know. So yeah, I'm very content with what we've actually managed to do, but, you know, it doesn't mean that I don't want to just play video games for another couple of hours because it's Easter and it's my birthday, as I continue to remind all of you happy people. All right, so let's see, what could we pick out here? I have a save file going on in Insane Trilogy. Now, everybody knows that if you play a game like Insane Trilogy, you're going to get caught up in a bunch of difficult levels. Oh my god, the resolution. This thing looks like it's, yeah, quadruple wide. Alright, I don't know, yeah, resolution just seems to be something that's been pretty thoroughly against me during today's stream. Okay, well, I don't know what to do about this because I don't see enough of the screen to actually be able to alter this. Okay, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to actually use the stream translation to help me find a way to fix this. That's not going to happen. Okay, well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to quit Crash Bandicoot because I just can't get this resolution to work. It must be set really, really high, and then I'm going to have to do something like use my Steam Deck in order to put it back into 1920. You know, it's a whole production. Just pick something else. Pizza Tower might be a good choice, but also, it's been a long time since I tried to play Anton Blast, so much that I actually might want to restart it again, just so people have a basic idea of, you know, of what Anton Blast actually is. I don't think it's actually one of my locally installed games. I'm going to have to download it again. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I had it uninstalled. There was no reason to uninstall it. It's just a 500 megabyte game. Something that actually might be pretty fun and pretty casual to play would be, I do have the remade version of Backyard Baseball, but that's also going to require me in order to do another download. So I'm going to start with Anton Blast, and then I'll probably go into Backyard Baseball after that, and that actually might be the entirety of the stream. All right. Say my my refresh has somewhat left me in this kind of situation. Every time I start a new game, as I have to like move to another screen or something like that so that I can fix the refresh and then I can put a new game on the screen. I'm probably going to need to expand this a little bit, you know. Something I'm definitely going to work on, I'm going to lock everything to a standard resolution because it's silly how many times I have to alter my screen. Okay, so there we are. Just a little bit of that. You know, it's very rare to see a game that has a track mode these days. All right. So, Anton Blast is a game that seeks to be a spiritual sequel to WarioWare. Stars this guy named Anton, who is probably one of the toughest guys in the world, and as opposed to being really greedy about money, he is incredibly greedy about alcohol. So, you know, I've made save files about this before, but I'm just going to clear it and I'm going to start a new game. All right. So, of course, I'm going to start out by playing as Anton himself. And, you know, it's an incredibly fun game. It's a very engaging, high-octane platformer, but it's also just really, really, you know, a game that I just haven't had enough time to play through. So this actually might be good for me. All right. Another.
All-powerful mirror of question-based magic. Who among the earth-walking cretins shines more crimson than I?
You know. Okay, so, you know, the reason that Anton suddenly lost all of his booze is due to the fact that he actually ticked off the devil. The devil hates him because he has redder skin than even the devil himself.
Upon looking into this further, it would seem his name is Dynamite Anton. I demand that you find this Antoine. Find out what he
You know, this is, you know, somewhat limited, but also incredibly well-animated cutscenes.
and I will siphon his delightfully rosy tone, leaving me the reddest being on and slash or in the planet.
You know, well, perfectly cartoony a reason in order to create a platforming game. It's personally amazing to me, you know, how long I've actually been streaming without locking my games into a standard resolution. You know, I'm only just coming into this understanding in probably the middle of my 4th year of streaming, and also my 2nd telethon. So,
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. There we go.
so Annie is like the Luigi to his Mario, but she is also an incredibly burnt out, crazy kind of personality who isn't much good for anything. She's still playable though, you know, and playing as her can be somewhat hilarious, especially when it comes with the changes in character dialogue. So, another major difference between this game and WarioWare is that instead of charging, you actually have a tornado spin that you wield a sledgehammer under.